mean, the Reds' infield is a crowded spot, and I still think he'd be an upgrade over almost anyone at the position. Welcome to the jungle, Bengals fans. I'm Kyle Phelps, and somebody told me that Elly De La Cruz is going to be a bigger star in Cincinnati than Joe Burrow. Oh, what? To be fair, I'm not much of a baseball guy, so I don't know. Maybe the kid's the next Ken Griffey Jr. or something, but I'm going to do my best to break that down for y'all today. But before I do, I'd just like to ask that y'all like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. It really helps my channel out, and it helps you know when all of my content drops. So first of all, y'all are killing me with this baseball shit, man. Like, seriously, I've gotten so many requests in the off-season from you guys to make baseball content in the off-season, and the calls have grown too loud. I can't just completely ignore it anymore. But as I've said 1,000 times on this channel, I am not a baseball guy. I don't watch baseball. I don't like baseball. Yeah, I understand the benefits of doing more than just football content here, and frankly, I feel like if I could get into baseball, I would probably love it. Like, beyond the surface of just, like, smacking a ball and running around the bases, it's actually hugely complicated. It's got all this meta, nerdy, like, stats and shit, and I love that kind of stuff about team sports. That's why I get into them. Unfortunately, it's also a crazy slow game, and overloaded with all of these unnecessary, bloated, tedious traditions that I find obnoxious. So, getting into the deeper shit is just, it's difficult for me, you know? Now, don't get me wrong, I love going to baseball games. It's just not the type of thing that I want to watch on TV and really get super analytical about after the fact. But, hey, you guys keep requesting baseball content, and I'm a man of the people, so I'll try. You know, it's the best I can do. But seriously, if I suck at it, then I warned you. So the first thing I have to figure out is, who the hell is Elly De La Cruz? Don't get me wrong, I've heard of the kid. I've definitely heard of him. I'm from Cincinnati, how could you not? The Reds have always been the favorite son of this city, no matter how good the other teams are. But with the Bengals, NFC Cincinnati being top teams right now in the NFL and MLS respectively, and the Reds not, this baseball town is ready to lose its mind over an A-list prospect like Elly De La Cruz. So, a bit of background on the 21-year-old shortstop. A side note, it took me forever to figure out what actual position he plays, so if that's any indication of my experience level on this one, you know, that should tell you right there. But he began his professional baseball career in July of last year with a futures contract, initially playing with the Chattanooga Lookouts. What a name. Before moving to the Dominican club, the Tigres del Licey, I hope I pronounced that right, in October. Since March, he's been playing with the feeder team for the Reds, the Louisville Bats. So I guess we have to root for the Louisville team now. That said, I might not be a baseball guy, but even I can tell this kid is special. In 38 games with the Bats, he's got 12 home runs, 11 stolen bases, and he's a 6'5" switch hitter. Basically, that means he's huge, he's fast, and he's ambidextrous at the plate. He can hit against any pitcher. The stats themselves, I'm led to believe, are really, really, really good, I guess. I don't know. But I don't need to be a baseball expert to tell you guys that being a 6'5" switch hitter is extremely useful, especially at that level of athleticism, right? Or, as the Louisville Bats Twitter page puts it, a literal cheat code. I could also tell you that he hits the ball very hard, according to the articles I read. Like harder than Juan Soto, who I hear cleared the Camden Yards in less than a parsec. From what I can tell, according to an article I read from CBS Sports, his biggest concern transitioning to the majors is the potential platoon problems. Yeah, those damn platoon problems, man. Like, according to the article that I'm reading about Elly De La Cruz from RJ Anderson over at CBS Sports, he sported a high K rate throughout his minor league career. Even now, he's punching out at 27% of his trips to the plate. But breaking down his numbers down to a platoon level reaches that his issues are primarily with southpaws. Hey, I know that one. I know that baseball word. That's the one that means he's left-handed. See, I know baseball, guys. I know. Wait, I thought he was a switch hitter. I don't know, I guess I won't question it. I feel like the platoon problems, though, I don't know what that even means, but, like, from what I'm reading, I think it probably can be potentially worked out over time. Like, he'll figure it out in the pros, it's fine. It's something that I've never heard of before, but you don't exactly hear somebody like Stephen A. Smith going around talking about, man, that Joey Votto sure is great except for all those platoon problems. So I think probably his biggest issue is probably fine in relation to all of the rest of his talent. Kind of like Joe Burrow and like the arm strength thing, like it's fine. I don't know. So obviously, he's going to be a star in Major League Baseball. Barring injury, I feel like he's probably on track to be one of the best players of his generation, like Ken Griffey Jr. But is his star power going to exceed Joe Burrow? Like Joe Burrow? Like, guys, it's Joe Burrow. This guy doesn't have all of the physical gifts of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and he still might be the best quarterback in the NFL. Might. I know a lot of people have a lot to say about Patrick Mahomes, but he's definitely, top 2, and I don't think he's 2. Joe Burrow is the prodigal son raised in Southern Ohio, returned and come to save the day for the local downtrodden Bengals team. He told Boomer Esiason that he was a Bengals fan growing up, and I don't think that's necessarily the truth, because he also said he was a Saints fan growing up when he was at LSU, so I think he's just trying to appeal to the local people. But which is it, Joe? Are you a Bengals fan or a Saints? I mean, I'm sure you're a Bengals fan now, but it's not the point. Either way, Joe being a lifelong Bengals fan is part of my headcanon. Joe was a phenom in Cincinnati the second that he touched down in the city. His rookie season may not have gone the way he wanted, to be fair, but before his knee injury, there were a lot of close games, and, there were some bad losses, but there was still an outside chance, very outside, but still an outside chance of the team that just had the #1 overall pick of making the playoffs just because Joe Burrow showed up. Year 2, they went to the Super Bowl. Year 3, they went back to the AFC Championship and were arguably a silly mistake from Joseph Osai away from going back to the Super Bowl in back-to-back years. My son was actually watching this show on Hulu the other day, which I think is on Cartoon Network, but I don't know. I'm old now, so I don't know about cartoons anymore, apparently. I don't know. But the show's called Big City Greens, and it's actually pretty funny. But the kid went to a football camp, and that camp was named after the Bengals. Like, bro, the Bengals are one of the poster children of the NFL right now. The Bengals! And it all started with Joe Burrow. So, could Elly De La Cruz reach those heights of stardom? It's definitely possible, like pair him with potential all-stars like Jonathan India, Alexius Diaz, and Graham Ashcraft, and not to mention aging former all-star Joey Votto. De La Cruz could be the guy who brings it all together. With how talented he is, he could overshadow all those dudes, and he could lead to a golden era of Reds baseball. The problem? It's the Reds, guys. They've made the playoffs 4 times in the last 12 years. That's an improvement from 0 times in the previous 12 years before that, but it's still not like it's any good, Part of the reason is the fact that they keep trading all of their talent away for the sake of acquiring future assets. They had a good team in 2020 and promptly got rid of Jesse Winker, Eugenio Suarez, Sonny Gray, Tucker Barnhart, Nick Castellanos, and Amir Garrett. So from what I can tell, I do think the Reds have the pieces to potentially make a new big red machine, and Elly De La Cruz could be like Dave Concepcion with, Pete Rose's impact. I mean, the Reds' infield is a crowded spot, and I still think he'd be an upgrade over almost anyone at the position. Everyone in baseball seems to agree that the kid is undeniably special, and he'll be an absolute star in Major League Baseball. That said, another reason why I wonder if his star power is going to exceed Joe Burrow is, honestly, football is just way more popular these days. Joe is going to do the impossible one day. I fully believe this. He's going to do the impossible one day and win a Super Bowl for the Bengals. The most recent Super Bowl saw a record 115.1 million people tune in, breaking the old record of 114.4 million from that one time that Pete Carroll didn't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. The highest rated single game of the World Series in history was about 54.8 million views from the title-clinching Game 6 between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Kansas City Royals. In 1980, baseball's popularity has been on the decline for years, and there's a lot of reasons why. Although my dad would tell you that it's because of the series of strikes and lockouts in the 70s, 80s, and particularly the ones in the 90s, turning off a lot of people while the NFL was rapidly growing during those years. But whatever the reason, there's no denying that baseball does not have the draw that it once did, and the NFL is currently just more popular than baseball ever was. Now, it's possible that Elly De La Cruz could be a better baseball player than Joe Burrow is a quarterback. Honestly, I don't feel qualified to analyze that all that much. I mean, I tried to analyze baseball earlier, and you saw how that went. But what I can tell you is comparing a kid who hasn't even been called up to the majors yet to Joe fucking Burrow is... honestly, I don't even think that's fair to Elly De La Cruz to put those expectations on him. And that's if he even stays in Cincinnati to begin with. It's rare these days for great players to spend their whole career with one team, and it's even rarer for the Reds these days, guys. So those are my thoughts, guys. Shout out to subscriber Joshua Clark, who gave me the idea for this video on Facebook. Hopefully I didn't sound too ignorant, but if I did, I warned you. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think that De La Cruz could be a bigger star than Joe Burrow? Did I devalue the entire sport of baseball by attempting to make a video about it? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll feature the best ones in my next video. Like this one from Mikey, Saints fan for life, who said on episode 2 of my Mike Brown series, "Go get your degree, we will always be here." And I really do appreciate that sentiment, Mikey. A couple other people have expressed that sentiment, and I appreciate that. To be clear though, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be putting out videos. It's probably going to be less consistent while I'm at school. And also recent developments, we got this little time destroyer now. He's a very good boy. He's very cute, but he also takes up all of my time, and it's impossible to get anything done with this one around. Now, he's going to get a little bit older by the time school starts and the football season starts, but still, it takes a lot of time. Honestly, those Mike Brown videos aren't exactly doing super well right now in terms of views. I think that they could be the kind of things that get more views long term, but right now I'm just kind of throwing stuff at the wall to see if it sticks in the off season. That said, they are doing quite well in terms of engagement, so I'll definitely finish the series. But as always, I appreciate everybody who watches. Y'all can always find more of what I do at KylePhelps92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/ThePhelps, Butt Fumble Sports, the Battle of Ohio podcast on the Spot Pod Network, and right here if you subscribe. Now, I may not care much for baseball, but I am from Cincinnati, and therefore I'm a Reds fan. So I do hope I'm wrong for doubting how high Elly De La Cruz's star could rise here. Either way, me and Bark Salami will leave y'all, as always, with a hootie!